Welcome to a recorded overview of Let's Get Ready, a family's guide to supporting kindergarten readiness. This is a project of the North Carolina Office of Early Learning that is designed to support families and caregivers as they prepare for the transition to kindergarten experience. Our why for this project. Our division recognizes that children enter school ready with what they know and can do upon entrance to kindergarten, and that this is highly shaped through diverse early experiences and backgrounds. When children engage in rich early experiences and build trusting relationships with adults prior to kindergarten, the positive effects can be long lasting. Families and caregivers that are empowered with developmental knowledge and strategies to support the development of young children can enhance these early experiences and help children more easily transition to kindergarten, and also equip them with the skills they need to be successful in the early years. The only requirement for kindergarten entry is that the child will be 5 years old by August 31st. This guide is not intended to determine if a child is or is not ready for kindergarten, but rather provides support to the families and caregivers to enrich their child's early experiences prior to kindergarten. As we speak to our how, we wanted to communicate a whole child approach building upon the 5 developmental areas from foundations with adult-child interactions at the heart of all support tips and recommended activities. We provide simple, family-friendly guidance on age-appropriate developmental skills, as well as strategies and at-home activities to support the progression of those skills. Our what has resulted in this work and has shaped itself into the Let's Get Ready guide. Before we begin, it's important to remember that this work began with and is grounded in the North Carolina Foundations for Early Learning and Development. It highlights the older preschooler developmental indicators. Foundations helps us answer the question, what should we be helping children learn before kindergarten?
The guide opens with a transition timeline on page 4. This tool outlines some of the important logistical steps families can take as they work through the transition process the year before kindergarten. It is written broadly enough that further context and details can be added by local districts and communities. It speaks to tasks such as when families should start learning about the school and schools in the area, collecting the required documents for registration, using the I can statements from this guide to learn about their child's strengths and needs, and then sharing that information with their K teacher, and even planning for transportation, school meals, and the first days of school. The guide is organized by each of the developmental domains from foundations. Each section begins with an I can statement scale. Again, these are based on the older preschooler developmental indicators and are written in language that supports self-confidence and ownership of their learning. After reading each I can statement, families may consider and mark how frequently they observe the child demonstrating the skill. This can help families understand which skills are strengths for the child and which skills may benefit from additional support. Families are encouraged to review and revise their markings throughout the year and to certainly share these with a receiving kindergarten teacher. Each section also contains a support tips section. This includes a collection of interaction, communication, and response strategies for families and caregivers specific to each of the areas of development. Each support tip promotes family and child interaction and gives examples of language that families may use. Each section concludes with 6 try this activities that are directly connected to the skills found in the I can statements. These choices are child-friendly, promote adult and child interaction, and require few to no materials.
As we are aware that reading to your child every day is a critical support to language and later literacy development, we've included both strategies for reading together and a book list that highlights some favorite books about going to kindergarten. This can be found in the Language Development and Communication section of the guide on page 13. The back cover provides QR codes with additional links to guide families and caregivers in supporting school readiness. Families can simply hover over the QR code with their mobile device's camera to access more information. We'd like to point out a couple of these specifically. On the top, you notice the I can statements with more detailed descriptions. This is for engaging with the skills for each domain of development and gives a little bit more information. We would also like to point out the CDC Learn the Signs mobile app. This provides families and caregivers the opportunity to investigate expected milestones by age and provides activity ideas and videos to support their child's development. At this time, there are two options to access the guide if you would like to share with families. Individuals and schools or districts are welcome to download a PDF version of the file from our website to print their own copies, or they may also use the ADA accessible version upon their own websites. Printed versions of the guide will also be available through the North Carolina DPI Publications Catalog for a per copy cost. There will be two options, a full color copy and a version with a full color cover and black and white interior. So some of the next steps for us is that we are working with other state agencies and community groups to make this available through their websites and other avenues. We are also working on making this available in additional languages. These are working through the publication process at this time.
We invite you all to join us in asking community agencies to obtain copies of the Let's Get Ready guide for distribution. Please help us encourage colleagues and constituents to use their online platforms and interfaces to post and link to this downloadable guide, and most importantly, to direct families to this resource in a variety of ways. Also, please let us know of other ideas that you may have that could help us help others gain access to this resource. We thank you for allowing us time to present this resource.